Alrighty guys, this is going to be a ride on the G line going from here to Union Station to Old Town Arvada. I won't be doing a lot of commentary for this video, but anywho, I want you guys to sit back, relax, and enjoy this 19-minute ride to Old Town Arvada.
Next stop, 41st and Fox Station.
I will be, by the way, however, dedicating this video to... I'll be dedicating this video to Spaceboy YT Transit. So if you're watching, enjoy this video. Sorry for the stumble, for the moment stumble. So we're just leaving Union Station. You can see the N-line tracks right there. Because right there is the Denver 7 News Building, is where the N-line tracks are. I've always been wondering this, guys. On both the B and G lines, we stop at this crossing, which is located just right underneath I-25. If you guys know, let me know down in the comments below. I remember seeing a time-lapse video of when this line first opened. It did not stop at this crossing, and according to Google Maps, sometimes the G line gets delayed by 3 minutes. Westbound G line trains get delayed by 3 minutes. Because I think because of the crossing we stopped at. But here we are approaching 41st and Fox. there are a few cars parked here, which is surprising because normally when people go to work or school like me, usually there's not a lot of cars here. But because I forgot to mention there is a Broncos game today, there is a few cars parked at the park and ride right here. And when we pull out of the station, there's even more cars parked here at the actual park and ride, but those people I don't think take the G line, but I'll show you guys. We're about to pull out of the station, and it's for this apartment complex that is just right there, the Ironworks apartments. You can see, here it comes right there. You can see a lot of those cars parked right there, but hopefully that doesn't count for RTD. Maybe that's just people that are just parked for that apartment right there.
Pecos Junction Station.
Also, what I forgot to mention is that with every single commuter rail line, except for the N line, they don't play whenever the N line stops at all its stations along the line, it doesn't say the welcome aboard RTD commuter rail. What you just heard just now, like 2 minutes ago, when we were stopped at 41st and Fox, they really got to add that to the N line because it says it on the A, B, and G lines. They're building a Virgin Hotels, believe it or not, right there where that crane is. And that was the old Denver Post printing facility right there, that old building is. But I already see some groundbreaking right there. I wonder if the old building right there is going to be will be part of the Virgin Hotels. This is the RTD commuter rail maintenance facility. And look at the wheels on that train. They look kind of funny. Maybe that train's wheels are just getting replaced. But here's the commuter rail maintenance facility. Look at all those trains stored at the maintenance facility right there. I feel like this is the only place on the G line that reaches its top speed, because I think after Pecos Junction Station, the G line goes like, I think 75% of the speed or half the speed, because here's the thing, the G line actually goes through a neighborhood, also as well as the W line, but I'm still fine with that. At least we can still enjoy the view. Now we're at our top speed.
This is the Pecos Junction Station. Connections can be made to other lines at the station. Please be sure you have all of your personal belongings. Please remember you must have a valid ticket, transfer, or pass.
Here we are approaching Pecos Junction Station. And by 2029, hopefully, the B line or the takeover or the Front Range passenger rail could have rail service not just to Longmont but to Fort Collins, which it'll be run by a diesel powered train, not by an electric train like the A, G, and N lines do. But as of right now, the B line is electric, and I believe those tracks that are right there are gonna be the diesel powered trains, which it's not going to serve 41st and Fox and Pecos Junction, but hopefully that will be done by 2029, which, believe it or not, 3 years from now, and
Welcome aboard
I can
RTD
finally
commuter rail.
board a train to
This
Boulder,
is the G line
Longmont,
to Wheat
and
Ridge, Ward Station.
Fort Collins, and also a stop in Loveland. I'll look forward to that. And I also wonder if the proposed RTD stations will be built as well, which is Flatiron, Broomfield, and Louisville stations, and downtown Westminster. Just like 41st and Fox, Pecos Junction is not a easily touchable park and ride just by parking, because it's in the middle of, because there's not a lot of residential units, just like industrial units. There are the B-line tracks right there, but I do have a feeling the overhead wires are gonna be taken down because the train will serve the current Westminster station. The Front Range Passenger Rail train will serve the current Westminster station before it leaves for Boulder, Longmont, Loveland, and Fort Collins. I just can't wait to see the Boulder, Longmont, Fort Collins train up and running by 2029, hopefully. We're right next to I-76.
This is the Clear Creek Federal Station. Please do not lock the doors and kindly move to the center of the train to make room for boarding passengers.
I wonder if this station is seeing a couple cars parked to the parking lot for the Broncos game today. There is a few, actually, as you can see. But this is also one of the stations that is untouchable because of not that many residential parts of this area. So here we are at Clear Creek Federal. And by the way, there's actually a park that's... Let me not drop the phone. Right there. I'm not sure if you can see it, but... I think you'll see it when you pull out of the station.
This is the G line to Wheat Ridge, Ward Station.
Yeah, like I said, they gotta add that to the N line. That's not on the N line whenever it stops at all the stations along the way. We're just 2 stops away from our destination. There's that park right there at the Clear Creek Federal Station. Has like xylophones to the right, as you can see. Just really nice. Called Gateway Park. Here's Federal Boulevard.
Next
We're crossing
stop,
over.
60th and Sheridan Arvada Gold Strike Station.
Throughout the months, I've always been trying to figure out who the text-to-speech voice is when RTD does announcements to all its stations except for the N line, because the N line uses Microsoft Zira and Microsoft David voice whenever it does station or disruption announcements. But for the stations here on the G line and all the other rail lines except the N line, thank you so much, Spaceboy YT Transit, for the voice. And if you all want to hear what the text-to-speech voice is for the station announcement, it's AT&T Crystal, which was actually the old weather voice, female weather voice, along with the male version of it, but I don't know who the male version is, but thank you so much, Spaceboy YT Transit,
This is the 60th and Sheridan, Arvada Gold Strike Station.
helping me figure out what the text-to-speech voice is, which, like I said, it's it's AT&T Crystal. But however, I'm having trouble downloading it, and it's actually not free. I'm just fine using just Zira and David, what is used on the N line. But David is also sometimes used for the commuter rail lines, the rest of the commuter rail lines here. So here we are at 60th and Sheridan.
Welcome aboard RTD Commuter Rail. This is the G line to Wheat Ridge Ward Station.
Next station is us.
Next stop, Old Town Arvada Station.
This is one of the places where the G line doesn't go full speed because we're near a residential building, but this is a bridge right there. I think we go over it and we had to go slow, otherwise the train's gonna derail. That's why the G line most of the time, as well as the W line, don't go full speed, because we want to respect the neighbors. Here are the tracks right there that the California Zephyr uses. The Amtrak train line that goes from Denver to San Francisco and Chicago, as well as Salt Lake City and Omaha. And then right here is where the G line goes single track. When RTD builds its N-line extension, and also with the FR front range passenger rail, this should be single tracked because it's a cost saving measure. I do want to say, guys, Merry late Christmas and Happy late New Year. Happy New Year, actually. This is the first video of 2026. We're speeding up a little bit. Whoa, I don't think we went this fast before. Which is really, I think we're going half the speed. But here we are approaching Old Town Arvada Station. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and anyways, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching, and this video will keep going until we stop at Old Town.
This is the Old Town Arvada Station. Please remember you must have a valid ticket, transfer, or a pass.
This concludes the video. Take care, everyone.